When was the last time that you took a break? One where you just did nothing, one where you didn't feel guilty about it. Be honest with yourself. How often do you take a break but you still have that little voice in your head telling you that you're slacking, or even worse, you're falling behind? I'm Sanj and welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that helps you to navigate life's challenges by helping you to master your mindset so you can master your life. If you get something from this episode, please share it with someone who you think would benefit from hearing it. I'd also really appreciate it if you could leave me a rating or a review wherever you're hearing this. So, Vince Lombardi said, "Fatigue makes a coward of us all." And we often think to ourselves that if we push through the fatigue, we can do it. But the truth is, when we're exhausted, we don't just lose energy. We lose clarity, we lose creativity, and actually we lose focus. So if you're actually someone who's always on the go, who feels like you must keep moving forward all the time or you'll fall behind, then this episode is for you. And today I'm going to be talking about why resting is essential, and why, although sometimes you may rest for a bit of time, a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, why it's not quitting, and actually how it helps you come back stronger than you were before. We've all done it. You know you've done it where you sat there and you're like, I just can't be bothered today. And then you do the second day, you know what, just not today, not today. And what happens is you don't actually rest, you end up quitting. But the problem is we feel this constant need to keep moving forward. We feel we have to be in constant motion, living in a culture that glorifies the grind. We've seen all those motivational posts on social media, no days off or hustle until you make it. And while there's nothing wrong with working hard, but we're now in a position where we're always moving forward and we're taking that to the extreme. But actually, the truth is, pushing yourself too hard without ever taking a break is actually stopping you from being your best. I've noticed that over the summer, I took a couple of weeks off from social media. I was ill last week, so I stopped actually putting anything out on social media that was too time consuming, too energy consuming, because I wasn't feeling it. And actually now I've come back, I feel more motivated, I feel like I've got more clarity and I've got more focus. Productivity per hour sharply declines when you work more than 50 hours a week. Can you imagine that? We're sitting there thinking it's great for us to do all this overtime, but actually productivity sharply declines when you work over 50 hours a week. And apparently after 55 hours, productivity drops off so much that there's almost no point in working. Can you imagine that you're actually working hard, you're thinking you're being productive, but actually you're barely doing anything? So working more doesn't mean working better, but we still continue to push ourselves. And that's because you'll often confuse activity with progress. You're thinking that if you're constantly busy, you must be doing something productive. But being busy does not mean you're making real progress towards your goal. If you think about it like this, have you ever tried to drive a car when your tank is almost empty? You may still be moving, but you're going slower, and eventually you'll stop completely. You actually need to refuel to keep you going at your best. Exactly the same as a car. If you don't take time to stop, recharge, rest, you end up risking burnout. And when you're burnt out, not only are you less productive, you actually stop enjoying the process. Over 70% of people report of feeling burnt out at some point in their jobs, and that will affect your performance, your relationships, and your mental health. So even though while society may tell you to keep hustling, there is actually a caveat. It doesn't mean that you cannot rest. Sometimes the best way to keep moving forward is to actually take a step back, to give yourself that time, to give yourself that breather. But that's the thing. As I said, we're brought up now in a culture that always promotes this hustle and grind. And so we struggle to take breaks. And so many of us actually resist even resting when we're even feeling tired. We know we're tired. You may have had a bad night's sleep. You know you're tired, but you're still doing everything and then some. And a lot of this comes down to mindset. Somewhere along the way, you've equated resting with laziness, or even worse, you've equated it with failure. You're afraid that if you stop moving and moving forward for a moment, someone else will get ahead of you, or you'll end up losing the momentum you've built. But here's the thing. When you take a rest, it's not the same as quitting. Taking a rest will allow you to come back stronger, with more passion, with more focus. When you don't allow yourself to rest, it's because you're afraid of slowing down. But taking a break doesn't mean you're giving up. It's just a strategic pause in your work, in what you're doing. Imagine an athlete in a marathon. They don't run the entire race at full speed. They pace themselves. They take breaks. They may hydrate, and then they push on. That's how they win. That's how they get to the finish line. There are times where they'll be going faster. There'll be times where they're going slower. There may be times where they stop. But that's how they get to the end. But when you're constantly moving forward without rest, it's easy to feel like a break is the beginning of the end. It's easy to think, if I stop now, I'll never get back up. I know this. I used to do this. And now what I've noticed over the last year is actually sometimes I need that strategic break. I need that step back. That fear is what turns a healthy break into something that feels like quitting. The most successful people in the world, they take breaks. They know that rest is actually the key to longevity and sustained success. You will not see them working 10 till or 9, let's say 7 a.m. till 12 p.m. every single day. No, they know what it means to take a rest. They know that actually when they rest, it actually gives them time to think, realign if they need to. When you actually take regular breaks, you avoid burnout. And burnout is just the enemy of productivity. It's the enemy of creativity, the enemy of happiness. Is actually now being classified as an official medical condition. Burnout doesn't just impact your work, it affects your health and your well-being. But when you actually decide to actually take intentional rests, you avoid going down this spiral. You come back refreshed, you come back energized, you come back ready to tackle the challenges ahead of you. Then there's also clarity and confusion. Have you noticed how things get blurry when you're tired? Your decisions aren't as sharp and you're more likely to make mistakes. When you actually have that rest, it allows your brain time to reset and it allows you to actually take the time you need, give you the clarity you need to solve problems more effectively. Your cognitive performance, your brain health and your brain performance improves significantly after a break, even just a short one. It doesn't have to be days. It could just be 15 minutes where you just allow your brain just to focus on nothing at all. But a lot of the time as well, you, in your break, you'll pick up your phone. You'll be doing something else. You'll be doing something that engages your brain. Sometimes you may just need to take a step back and actually just allow your brain to be, allow your mind to wander. Without rest, you're just spinning your wheels in confusion. And actually, one of the biggest things that happens when your mind is at ease is you get great ideas. How many times have you had a great idea in the shower or when you're doing something mind-numbing where your brain is just wandering? That's why people say the best ideas come at these moments when you're just doing nothing. When you're resting, it actually creates a space for creativity. Without breaks, your thinking is becoming rigid and all your innovation, it stops. Think of rest as like an oxygen that fuels your creative fire. So next time you feel you should be pushing through, remember that actually taking a break is actually an investment in your future self. When you rest, you're actually allowing yourself to prepare for your next big leap forward. So as always, here's the actionable part of the podcast, the bit where I give you some simple steps which you can actually incorporate. First thing is schedule your breaks. Don't hope that you can find time to rest. Schedule it. Set a reminder on your phone. Put it in your calendar. It could be something as just taking a 10-minute break, or every hour you just go for like a 3-4 minute walk, just scheduling a bit of downtime in the evening maybe. It can be anything you want it to be. Just schedule it if you aren't able to actually find it in your schedule, in your day. The next thing is, when you take a break, make it intentional. Don't pick up your phone. Don't scroll through social media. Don't half work during your downtime. Do something mindful. Take deep breaths. Stretch. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Allow your mind to wander. When you actually don't think about anything, when you just sit there peacefully, not doing anything, it actually allows you to recharge. And this means you can come back with more focus. Third thing, get outdoors. Nature has a way of recharging you like nothing else. So take a short walk outside during your break. And just spending 20 minutes in nature can actually significantly reduce stress and improve your mood. The next one, create boundaries. Create some boundaries between work and rest. When you're off the clock, actually be off the clock. Don't check your emails. Don't respond to messages. Don't actually, I just got to go and sign in for another 10 minutes. Finally, the most important one, sleep well. Sleep is a superpower. If you haven't seen that TED Talk, I would recommend it. Sleep is the ultimate rest, and yet so many of us are not getting this rest. Prioritize your sleep. Aim for between 7 and 9 hours of quality sleep each night. This will make all other rest breaks more effective as well. It will mean that you wake up happier, more focused, and just ready to take on the day. Where in your life could you be taking breaks which would actually help you progress more? Whether it's in your career, whether it's your personal goals, sometimes it's the best thing to do for your future self, just to rest right now. Thank you for tuning in today, and I really hope this episode reminded you of the power of rest and how you actually need to make it an essential part of your journey on your path to success. If you found value in this episode, please be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who may need to hear it. Remember that rest is not quitting. It's recharging you for the next step in your journey. So until next time, please take care and take that break. If you enjoy this, don't forget to leave a review. It really helps my podcast grow. And also you can follow me on social media on Instagram at just.live.coaching for more mindset tips and tricks. Take care of yourself, and remember, you have the power to master your mindset. And when you do, you will master your life. See you next time. Thank you.